Hello, my whole school beauties. I'm excited to bring you our very first Vitality membership video because the vibes have changed for me. The energy is very different. And it's my desire to bring you this sense of aliveness through this questions for contemplation on what vitality means to you. Now, the reason this is such an important contemplation to have is, in my experience, vitality, particularly for us as women, is something that we don't necessarily take time to consciously look at. And yet, it's a huge piece of the puzzle of experiencing a life not only consciously, but a life that we can look back on and be proud to have lived. So, unless we are focused, unless we are deliberate, unless we are intentional, life can just happen. We're doing the day to day things. We've got so many different responsibilities to focus on, to juggle, competing interests, to try and balance work, family, responsibilities, friendships, career aspirations, all of the ways that our attention is pulled in different directions. And in order to meet ourselves well in any of these areas of our life and to feel like we've done the job that we would like to do, the job that makes us feel proud, we have to be able to tap into a sense of energy, a sense of aliveness, a sense of connectivity in order for this to happen. So our vitality is the measure of our aliveness. It's the difference between surviving through life and life kind of happening around us, and then it's punctuated by certain significant moments, birthdays, global events, Christmases, Easters, that kind of thing, versus that connection to feeling aliveness in our day-to-day experience, feeling that sense of connection to our body, the sense of energy that's available when our body is aligned, when our energy is supported, when our health feels like it's a priority. And because we do have all these competing interests, often we don't stop long enough to be a conscious creator in that experience of our vitality. And I know in my personal experience, the more that I sideline taking care of my experience of vitality, my experience of being consciously moving through, energized in my life, having the clarity, having the focus, having all the things that make me feel good, then the quality and experience of my life is not what it could be. And I am committed in my own experience to continually elevating that feeling of a life well lived, that feeling of a life that I can be proud of, that feeling of when the time comes, being able to reflect and look back on my life and be proud for all the ways that I've shown up, for all the ways that I've grabbed life, said yes to the things, and felt really good about leaving my mark and representing myself in the world in the best way possible. So when we stop, take a moment to contemplate, to ponder on our experience of vitality, we might be able to see some of the places that we've neglected taking this seriously. It may be the first time that you've actually stopped to contemplate, where do I feel vitality in my life? Where do I feel this connection, this aliveness? And why haven't I stopped to think about it before? What have I made more important? Or what has not been shown to me that has made me see that this is something that I need to take seriously? So life can get in the way. Life can distract us. Life can make it easy to not take the time to do this. So let's make this something that we take care of now. And the thing is, when we start to think about it and look at it in the context of where am I feeling this vitality, we can see how the levels of vitality that we invite into our experience also has a knock-on effect on how we say yes to things or not. The types of things that we'll be willing to draw into our path, the types of things that are available to be attracted to us or not. Higher levels of vitality mean higher levels and a wider experience of life versus if we're constantly feeling drained or constantly feeling tired or constantly feeling disconnected from our body or in any way compromised by having a sense of aliveness in what we are and how we show up. That is directly correlated to how expansive our opportunities feel, how expansive our desire to be curious, to be playful, and to explore what life potentially can offer us. Because we know in the field of all potentiality, there are no limits. There is no lack. There is no constriction. But our experience of our vitality will determine how true that feels in our life. So I invite you to have a look. I'll leave some questions for contemplation to take this into the moments that you're dedicating to be with yourself around this. And another thing I want to leave you with before I leave you with your contemplation questions is our experience of vitality continues to change and evolve. It will be influenced by the seasons that we're experiencing around us in the world, as well as the season of life that we are currently living. So there may be seasons of life when the sun's shining, when it's warm outside, when we can tap into that experience of vitality. It feels more available to us. And there may be seasons when it's colder, the nights are darker, when we are withdrawing, looking inwards, cocooning a little bit more, affects how we experience that vitality, as well as, are we having a family? What are the demands that our family require of us, whether that's young children, whether that's aging parents, whether that's anything in between. So the consideration and practice, acknowledgement, desire, conscious awareness of where our levels of vitality sit get to be a constant evolution, get to be a movable feast depending on what we may need in that particular season of our life. So that's an invitation to bear that in mind as you sit with the contemplation. So I'll put the questions into the description below, and it will also be on the online library, which if you're there, you're probably seeing this now. I hope you enjoy taking this reflection time, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this experience too. Until next time.